appreciate it. I also want to take a moment to introduce other colleagues from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Seems they're taking a picture. And Carla, another staff attorney with us. Thank you, League of Women Voters, ACLU, everyone, for putting this together and continuing this conversation. I've seen many of you before. We've been talking about this before, right? But hopefully that documentary helped just sort of humanize it more. And I mean, I see parents here now that have stories very similar, if not worse than that. So this is a graphic we created to demonstrate how frequent students are arrested for disorderly conduct in Escambia County. Just that blue lip right there, right? That's Escambia County. But you would have to combine the whole panhandle, basically, in many places to equal the amount of kids arrested in the Escambia County schools for disorderly conduct. And as the documentary shared, many of the students are arrested for kicking a trash can, brushing a teacher, right? And Pinellas County's rate compared to Escambia is about 30–40% lower. Pinellas County, as someone who's worked in Pinellas County and worked in Escambia County, Pinellas County is Chuck E. Cheese compared to what's going on here. And we'll pass out many of the statistics I'm going to go through are on a handout, an updated handout that is out there. Probably my colleagues will pass them out as I go through them. But I know I only have a couple minutes, so it's going to be really fast. So if we look at this is a statewide arrest trend. We see with intake juvenile arrests, they're going down. Diversion, the amount of kids they have to divert into the system, going down. Direct file is this bottom line here is the lowest, and it's all going down, right? We still see disparities. Black youth are only 21% of the population in Florida, but they're 45%. Now this is the state trend. We've acknowledged, as Dabrowski said, you know, the juvenile justice system, they collect data, they've seen this. But let's look at Escambia, right? Go back to the state, let's look at Escambia. Everything's not going down, and as far as I know, it's one of the only places in the state where you see direct files have gone up consistently. Despite all the noise we're making, despite what's happening, you still see more children being put in adult jail here. And you see one of the highest rates in the country. Look at black youth, 32% of the county, 65% of the youth in the juvenile justice system. But you even see with intake, why are more children just being arrested and being processed? That costs thousands of dollars to process a kid through the juvenile justice system. And now if we continue, this is Escambia County school arrest, the yellow line. You saw Southern Poverty Law Center in 2012 filed a federal complaint with the Office of Civil Rights against the school district, challenging the school arrest, the discipline policies that disproportionately affect black students. That's what actually brought Ms. Keontae Humphreys to the region before ACLU balled her from us. And I'm currently the attorney on that. So we filed this complaint on behalf of the thousands of black students being subjected to this. And we saw a little dip from 2011-12, 2012-13. But however, we saw the first increase in years recently. And this is the latest data available, which is 14-15. There was an 11% increase in Escambia in children being arrested at school. This one, which you can't see, I apologize for that. Is there any way to dim the first row lights? Oh, perfect. There we go. This is the statewide trend. You see, school arrests are going down in Florida. Not in Escambia. Not in Pensacola. The Department of Juvenile Justice looked at thousands of schools. And if you look at the top 25, you see 3 Escambia schools out of thousands of schools. Think about that. That's not a distinction we want, right? We see Warrington Middle School, Pine Forest High School, and Escambia High School, right? Out of the thousands of schools throughout the state, top 3. And this is not with achievement, this is not with athletics, this is with taking children and putting them in cages from school. Now, if we look at the disproportionate minority contact throughout the district, throughout the entire county, and I have the direct file numbers here as well. Black youth are about 32% of all youth, right? And if you look at this, I don't know what color to call that, tannish, brownish color, that's the percentage of juvenile arrests. They're over 70% of juvenile arrests, black youth. You know, diverted, they're less likely to be diverted, you see, than arrested. And then if we look at those transferred to adult court, almost 70% of the children being tried as adult. So, and this happens more frequently. I think Escambia County is about 3 or 4 times Children here are 3 or 4 more times more likely than places like Miami-Dade, but not all children, especially black youth here. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. Sorry, I hope that doesn't make you dizzy if I move too fast. But number 8 in the state of Florida when it comes to disproportionately arresting black youth, black children. Now, this is some new OCR data, or Office of Civil Rights data, that shows, in my opinion, when I pulled this today, it's evidence of a dual education system. It's evidence that depending on what race you are, the quality of your school and the resources you have is influenced by it. So this is just gifted and talented enrollment. All right, black students are about 35% of Escambia County, so follow the yellow. When you look at gifted and talented, only 8%. And I've met brilliant black children coming up here. Now, if you look at enrollment in schools, even offering gifted and talented, and there was some noise about this recently. Black students are 33% of the schools, 30% of enrollment in schools offering gifted and talented, and then those not offering gifted and talented, there's 61%. So what this basically means is black children are less likely to have access to gifted and talented curriculum and courses. And you see the same with advanced placement courses, with IB courses. And again, black students, 32% of high school enrollment, 10% of IB courses and AP courses, so we're not giving them the opportunity to prepare for college as much. Now, going in here, so I'm going to go into a story about Camelot, one of the schools. It's a for-profit school here that gets a $1.7 million contract annually. It's an alternative school. The arrest rate at that school is over 20 times the state average. And that's what Escambia's, what you all as taxpayers are paying $1.7 million a year for. And I have a colleague, Will. Are you still Will Tucker back there? Can you stand up? He's an investigative journalist writing a story on it, and actually, thanks to James, a community member, found some stuff on Camelot. So if you have a story related to Camelot, please contact Will, and that's his email, and it's also on the back of the sheet. And, I thought I put the handout on here. So right now, actually, I'm just going to go through this handout really quick, or some of the numbers, because I know my time is running up. But Escambia arrests more children in school than nearly 90% of Florida's school districts. And Florida arrests more children in school than all 50 states. So think about that. You're the worst of the worst. Well, not you. You all are the ones trying to change it, right? We're trying to change it together. But Escambia is the reason why Florida puts more children in cages from school than any other state. As I said, it actually increases. Over 1,200 students in Escambia have been arrested over the past 5 school years. Roughly 70% of Escambia arrests are for misdemeanors and things that can be diverted with civil citation. You hear them applaud this program a lot here. It's being used sometimes, but it's not always offered to everyone, and we have parents here who can share that. Students in Escambia are 22 times more likely to be arrested for disorderly conduct than students next door in Santa Rosa County. So you can just cross the Gulf Breeze Parkway, I believe that's called, right? Just step from that bridge right there that separates the two counties. The minute you cross that bridge, your likelihood of being arrested in school multiplies by 22. And even in the community, 1 out of every 50 community arrests throughout the county are for disorderly conduct, but 1 out of 4 arrests in the schools are for disorderly conduct. Black students are disproportionately arrested, as I showed, right? They're 35% of the district, 77% of arrests, and disorderly conduct is the #1 arrest. We actually found 29 schools in Escambia County where black students are at least half of the arrests, and we found 16 schools where they're over 90% of the arrests, black students. And Escambia leads the state. Warrington Middle School, I believe that's the District 3 middle school, that might be District 2, sorry about that. But Warrington Middle School, which is number 6 in the state, 700 students. They arrest as many kids for disorderly conduct as the entire Miami-Dade school system, 350,000 students. And as a result, their arrest rate, not too far from here, is literally 500 times the state average. And that's unlike anything I've ever seen. And my job is to look at these numbers. A school with 700 children, and I was a teacher in Miami-Dade. Miami-Dade is one of the most dangerous counties in Florida. It's how one school can arrest as many kids for disorderly conduct baffles me. It also let's see, Pine Forest High School arrests more children than Santa Rosa County. So think about that. One high school arrested more than an entire school district of 26,000 students. And 100% of the arrests at Pine Forest High School, 100% of disorderly conduct arrests are black students. And then again, as I said, Camelot Academy, the state average for arrests is about 7 kids per 1,000 students. So if you have a high school with 2,000 students, that means about 14 kids you can expect to be arrested statewide. In Escambia, it's more than twice that rate. It's 14. And in Pinellas, it's less than 11, right? And Shonda Rhimes and Common and all these people thought the system there was so egregious, but it's actually worse here. Miami-Dade, Okaloosa County, 2 counties over is less than 2. So the arrest rate here is 7 times higher than 2 counties over in Okaloosa. And as we said, in Camelot, it's 140 students per 1,000. So instead of the statewide average of 7 per 1,000, it's 140. So those are some of the things we're seeing here in this Escambia. This is why we're still here. I thank you all for coming out tonight and giving us the opportunity to share this information with you.